here, and we would like to welcome you all to a new year. We appreciate you tuning in, and we couldn't do it without all of you listeners. And we also want to thank our advertisers for advertising here on the show as well. We have Crescendo, which you can find at crescendo.com, or you can call me if you want to have a free website created for your business or just for your own personal branding. Feel free to give us a call, and we can get you connected to a free website. You can reach us at 480-296-1776. And also, if you would like to reduce your telecom costs per month by about 30%, Crescendo will be able to do that for you. You can call us also at 480-296-1776, and we'll get you squared away. We also want to say thanks to Planet Beach for taking care of myself, my family, my wife over the holidays. My wife was very, very happy that she was able to have services provided by Planet Beach. There you get unlimited spa treatment. So you think about how stressful those holidays are. You think about being Santa and what that's all about, and all the shopping and wrapping and staying up till 4 in the morning. Santa's supposed to be grabbing those cookies and milk, and they're grabbed way before the presents are out there. I just have to tell you. So all through that stress, and then being able to offer services like Planet Beach offers unlimited treatments at the spa, unlimited massages, unlimited. I personally don't use the tanning so much, because even though some people would say with my very white skin that I should. However, it's bleachy white skin. but getting at the age that I am, I don't use that part of the services so much. But if you are into tanning, they also have spray tanning. So whether you want to go in the little pod that they have, or whether you want to do some spray tanning, that's something that I think I may actually do. It's just that I don't get out on the lake so much anymore. Even though I deviate and I digress here, but about 3 years ago, I did get out on the lake, and I found myself a much improved water skier. I don't know how this happened. I don't know if my sense of balance throughout the years got better. I was always okay, but I could do all kinds of things, jumping wakes really high, and I actually surfed. If anybody knows what surfing is like on an actual lake. Now, I know you beach bums are all poo-pooing this, but you essentially do it barefoot. Okay, so but. There's actually two kinds. There's doing the barefoot, and there's also you get your board up there on the wake of the boat, and so then you let go of the rope, and then it just continues on, and you're actually surfing the wake of the boat, which is really cool. I never even dreamed of doing that before, and here I am, fast forward 25 years from college and high school, and there you have me. So maybe I really should go get that spray tan that it's available at Planet Beach, and get back out there on the lake with the rest of you, and not be so pasty white. So meanwhile, I also want to say thanks to Glendale Flowers for taking care of my wife for the holidays as well. They're wonderful people. They have wonderful flowers, beautiful flowers, so I recommend that you go on down there. So today we are going to be talking about a little bit of a mishmash of things. It's the new year, and we're kind of rehashing what's been happening, and the theme that we've been talking about in the last few episodes has had a little bit to do with how can you improve your image in the social media from the standpoint of what you look like. And I know that sounds so shallow, but it isn't shallow if you think about getting healthy, if you think about getting an image that is just the best for you. So, for example, earlier on today, I had a conversation about fashion. Now, okay, I'm dressed pretty boring today. Those of you who are watching me on YouTube, I'm just in a blue shirt and a striped a dark blue and orange tie with some navy trousers. Okay, so but fashion has to do with your career, and it needs to match your career. So when you look at fashion, you need to look at fashion from the standpoint of what fits you best. Now, I have a wardrobe. We're going to talk about this, and we're going to we're going to leave the looking hip on Facebook concept alone. But just kind of wanted to finish that up because as we hit the new year, we are in a new year, and that means that there's going to be new fashion. There's going to be new, they're going to kind of change things a little bit on the winter fashion because we're in the dead of winter. We have all these ice storms, and everybody essentially. Oh, I just need to deviate for just a moment. I have to just thumb my nose. All of you out there that believe in global warming. It is freezing around the country right now, and so this whole global warming thing that my son keeps getting sent home from school talking about global warming, I'm explaining to him, just check the weather, and I'm not just talking about it now. We actually, if you look at all the stats, global warming is no longer global warming, and so this is where I kind of snicker and laugh at those that are out there, and I don't snicker and laugh at your expense. I just snicker and laugh and feel sad that there's so much propaganda that isn't true that people are buying off on. Now, maybe give me another 10 years and just study the data and things will change, but I don't think so. It just is the unlucky happenstance. It was the lucky happenstance of the global warmalists, is what I'll call them, the global warming artists, that decided that the Earth was warming because it was naturally warming. The Earth goes on a natural cycle of going warm and then going cold, going warm and going cold. And if you look at the almanacs, if you trace the almanacs over the years, for the last couple hundred years, it's very natural and normal. And the reason I say a couple hundred years, before that, theoretically, we weren't doing enough emissions as a human species. Besides a lot of campfires, and you could actually argue that everything that we were burning was burning a lot more than a lot of our industrial stuff now. But let's take the argument in the last couple hundred years that we became industrialized and started destroying the environment more. You will find that the Earth is not any colder or warmer now in cycle form than it was back then. So in the 90s with the big global warming movement, it was warming anyway, and now, much to their chagrin and embarrassment, it's starting to cool off anyway. It's just the way the Earth works, and it doesn't have anything to do with how much hairspray you use, speaking of beauty. So, getting back on track. That when it comes to fashion, a couple of little fashion tips I'm going to give you, not because I know all the latest fashion, okay, because obviously I'm dressed pretty conservatively right now, and the only thing that I probably would do that's a little bit different for my the way I dress right now is that I might have French cufflinks, I might have a little, I might put a tie bar. We have to be careful about tie bars. You might put a tie tack that is a little bit blingy. Bling is in, by the way, for the guys. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, a few months from now or a couple years from now, forgive me if it's out of date because it was up to the times as of now. Point that I'm making is that there's just a few little things that I could change, and maybe if I'm in Phoenix and it's cold for Phoenix, but shoot, I could still get up in shorts and to go work out this morning and my normal t-shirt and go work out. So it was cold for the first 5 minutes as I was driving down to the gym, but here's the real pointer. It's not so much about how I would dress or how I would change, but when you want to look good with fashion, there's 3 or 4 tips I'm going to give you. The first one is that fashion blogs do tend to keep you up to date. So all you have to do is Google 2014 winter fashion, and lo and behold, my videographer is completely in style right now because he is, as he films this episode, he is wearing a newsboy cap, and newsboy caps are absolutely in. Now, I've had a few discussions about what does a newsboy cap actually, what is it exactly? Because is it like the newsboys, the newsies, where they actually were kind of bulky and billowy up on top, versus the kind of the New York style?
Golf.
golf, more like golf hats. So those golf hats are a little bit of a newsboy hat. So but both of them are in. These kind of hats are in. So whatever you want to do there, but just wear them with style. I'm actually jealous of the rest of the U.S. that is so much colder than we are right now, because only in one way is because you can get so much more fashion oriented. You can throw in scarves, and you can wear big boots, and you can wear pea coats, and all kinds of things that are so much more fun than what we can do here in Phoenix, because it's just still too hot. You have to load all that up, and you got to strip it off by the time it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so having said that, the first thing you want to do is Google the blogs. A lot of people go to the runway fashions first. Nothing wrong with looking at what the runway is doing, but I would truthfully look at what the blogs are saying is in first, and then you can kind of recognize what's going on the runway. And then please, whatever you do, don't copy the runway. That's meant to be audacious and embarrassing, frankly, if you look like you're on the runway. Unless you actually are that model quality person, that whether a male or female. Don't just copy the runway, but then adapt the things. You can kind of see where the trends are going, and the runway is always going to be a quarter ahead, so they're breaking rank with what's currently in fashion when they go out there, because they're on the cutting edge, or I would say bleeding edge. It's actually not in fashion yet. So take the runways with a grain of salt, and also know that they are just completely fantastically out there, and then go to the blogs. Now the next thing you want to do with the blogs is Google 2014 faux pas, fashion faux pas, men and women, okay? And then that's the way you know what you need to get rid of out of your closet. And that's why they do that, of course. I mean, the whole thing is a conspiracy, and it's not a conspiracy, it's real. They want you to get rid of everything out of your closet, so that you have to get new and different stuff in your closet. That's why, they kind of let 20 years go by before they bring anything back. They made sure that the three-button suits were completely out from the 90s, and so, they probably won't bring those back in for another 6-7 years, which means that they've determined it's out of everybody's closet. They have, however, started to bring back the double-breasted suit, because that one is cleared out of everybody's closet. So that's an example of why you want to look at the fashion faux pas of what is wrong. Not so much because a three-button suit is going to be a fashion faux pas. It's just that you can get rid of things that should no longer be there. So, for example, it's been on the fashion faux pas list to wear Birkenstocks for about 15 years. And now, lo and behold, what are they trying to bring back? Those Birkenstocks. And they did the same things with Doc Martens, right? Doc Martens were on the don't wear list for a long time, and now they're bringing back the Doc Martens. Boat shoes, similar thing. Especially the two major faux pas were Birkenstocks with socks. Very, very bad. And then boat shoes with no socks. Very bad. And so what are they slowly transitioning back in, so you can all have stinky feet? Okay, so enough about my commentary on fashion, but in summary, first blog the good things that are in for that particular season, and don't get, and also, please, if you're a parent and you're trying to blog and look at these blogs for what's for your children in grade school or in high school, blog you make sure you search for what's in high school. Make sure that you blog for what is in grade school. Don't try to make them look like a little you, which it's nothing, because they're not in a career yet, but unless you're going preppy or classic look, and they're going to a prep school, and maybe that's why they are preppy, because they're going to a college prep school. Nothing wrong with that. And also, you can still pay attention to things like lacrosse. These kind of preppy events. It looks like we're getting a little bit close to break time, so we are going to take a break. When we come back from break, we are going to Well, actually, you know what? I think we still have 1 minute. Well, we looks like we have 1 minute left to break. So I'm going to wrap up this whole fashion conversation, and then we'll get into some other stuff when we come back from break, having a little bit more closely to do with the social media. But the final thing then, well, the summary is: look at the blogs, look at the fashion faux pas, look at the runway, because there's going to be a lot of the faux pas that are going to be being brought back, and you need to distinguish what's currently a faux pas that may be slightly being brought back, and then you can still hold on to it in your closet. If you happen to hold on for something that long, I want to know where these polyester suits that people are still having in from the 1968 to 1978 that they're actually still in people's closets. Why is that? Oof. Okay, so anyway, having said that. The final thing that you want to do is when you're dressing your kids, remember that there can be about 5 different major strategies, especially in high school, on how they dress. Are they going to be preppy? Are they going to be classic? Are they going to be, what's the new term here? The hipster. Are they going to do the hipster thing? Are they going to be steampunk? Okay, so it just depends on what but now this is where you have a chance when your kid's still malleable, maybe a little bit younger in high school, show him, her the styles and try to point them in that direction without having them feel controlled. And then they get a feel for what they're looking for, and you could actually affect their tastes. So then they don't go steampunk if you don't want to have them have long hair and big old stovetop hats and things like this, unless that's what you think is cool. Maybe you're a magician yourself and you want to kind of have that look for your kids. It just depends on what you like. So anyway, that's all the fashion advice I'm going to give, is just how to go out there and grab that fashion advice. For example, as I was looking on fashion faux pas, ripped jeans not in. That was something last decade. So no more officially ripped jeans, whether it's because you wore them out or because they were purchased that way. No more ripped jeans. Okay, so who knew that was all going to be the case? So this is just some good advice. And since we talked a lot about health, we talked a lot about how to get your image right on the social media from the standpoint of being healthy. You also want to look as good as you can. And by the way, people still see you in your different elements. So this is why you want to have a good wardrobe, a professional wardrobe. You also want to have a good casual wardrobe. So when you're, I don't recommend it, but when you're half drunk, holding the drink up in the air, that you actually have something that at least looks halfway cool. All right. But my recommendation is stop holding that drink up in the air. You can get accused of things that, that girl in the back that's behind you that doesn't even know who you are and you don't know, but somebody else knows the two of you, and now you get accused of stuff. That's what happens on Facebook, so just be careful on your image out there. So we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some things that actually are affecting us in the social media and some things that are changing inside of Facebook that I've been so anti-Facebook for so long. I'm finally going to give them a couple of kudos, and we'll when we get back from break, we're going to talk a little bit more about what they're doing and why you should pay attention to Facebook. So don't go away. We'll be right back after the break. This is Kurt Wilhelm, the host of the Social Universe here on Voice American World Talk Radio. We'll be right back.